as I sort of alluded to, so what we'll do is I'll play the video. It's just me doing a presentation like this on a Zoom session, but it does a really good job explaining and articulating what all it is that we do. When I say a really good job, it still needs work. It still needs work. It's really hard to articulate everything in one presentation. And then what I love doing after the fact is just getting into the Q&A. And we have like a little bit smaller group right now than we do normally. So give me an opportunity to sort of spend some more time on the questions. I've been doing this for a long time. I've been in the art industry for a long time. I've been doing digital marketing for a really long time. I'm really good at digital marketing. How art and photography sells online and off. It's not like, every other item that people try to put in an e-commerce store. It's a totally different beast in sales process. And then following all that up, we're up to like 4,800 customers now, and I get a look and see at their data who's doing well and who's not doing well, right? And constantly attempt to understand how they're doing what they're doing, and then systematize it and teach it for the rest of our customers. I say all that to say, like, whether you're ever going to become a customer or not, I would love to hear where you are. What are you struggling with? What do you think you're struggling with? I mean, I know conclusively what all of your biggest problem is, which we can get into, which is just attention, eyeballs for your work, because with that you can do anything. Without it, you can't do anything. So there's that. We can get into that. But my point is, love for you guys to ask questions. Be thinking about what you want to ask about. We'll get into it as soon as this is over. So April, go ahead and play it. And if you have questions while it's going, you can throw them in the chat, and I'll deal with those too. So, okay, go ahead, April. This is the homepage I'm talking about that we just recently redid, and I think it does a really good job articulating sort of who we are, what we do at a very high level. And if you scroll down the page, there's a bunch of videos of me explaining a whole bunch of things, everything that we do from top to bottom. But our tagline, which states everything that you need to start, run, and grow a successful art business, really does sum up what we do. We get pigeonholed as they're a website company. They're a website company. And yes, we do offer websites, but it is a tiny, tiny portion of what we do. Ultimately, we learned a couple of years ago, the hard way, by the way, if we are going to grow and be successful as a business, art storefronts, that is 100% dependent, surprise this one, but on how successful our customers are, on how much art and photography our customers are selling on a yearly basis. And so when you look at that as the problem that we're solving, it becomes so much more than a website, because a website is not enough. But still, we're going to talk about the website. I'm going to get into the other layers as we go down. So it does indeed all start with the website. I will pull one up because it'll make it more interactive. And, anyone that's been attempting to sell art or photography for any period of time, I'll use Bono today, they know one thing conclusively: selling art in an e-commerce capacity digitally online is not like selling other items. It's not like selling swim fins or ladies' handbags or electric scooters or bicycles or anything else, right? Buying art, okay, and buying art online is A, an extremely visual process, and B, an extremely friction-filled process. And what do I mean by friction? I mean, friction is all of the various different things, okay, that will prevent a visitor to your website from turning into a buyer, okay? And so really, everything that we do with our software is attempt to solve for this friction, okay? To solve for the friction, to solve for how important the visual aspects are towards selling art and photography online. And, it's never any one feature. It's all of the features working together. It can be little things like when you select a media type, which is canvas, it changes to a canvas, a gallery wrapped canvas. Most people don't even know what a canvas is. And so we've developed special videos that show the differences, the nuances in the real world, what an actual canvas print looks like, what's going to show up at their house, what are the high points of this one, is canvas different than metal. Oops, I missed a click on that. And so you can see what a metal print looks like and how it's sitting flat, eventually how it's hanging up, all the nuances, the intricacies, because it is such a visual process buying art. We have a feature called the wall preview, which allows you to cycle through various different room types. Again, such a visual process buying art. Not only can you circle through the different room types, and yes, you can add your own room type images in. We use some generic ones by design, and you can size pieces up and down, see what it's going to look like. Do I need a 36 by 49? Is that too big? Do I instead want a 28 by 38? we're making it easier for your potential customer to get to a buying decision. What if they want to, their walls aren't white, right? What if they're this ugly color? Or there's something a little bit darker. Is the piece going to look good with this color, right? Because again, buying art is just such an incredibly visual process. Another feature that everybody likes to talk about that we get a lot of plaudits for is
Here we are
we have
on
this feature.
artist and art.
Excuse me, mute that. Called live preview with AR. Okay, and what this is this allows somebody to come to your website with their telephone, can be iPhone or Android. You can see the phones here on the right hand side, and without downloading any apps, they can just use their phone, their camera, and press one button on your website that says live preview. And what this is going to do, it's going to take the camera on their phone, okay, which is going to show the real room, the real wall, where the art will potentially go. And then it takes your piece in augmented reality and it projects it onto the wall. And you're able to move it around with your finger. You're able to size it up, size it down, take screenshots. And so is it going to look great in the room? What size do I need to get, right? And so, again, this is attempting to solve for the visual friction of, I don't know if it's going to work in my room. I don't know what it's going to look like, right? It's just getting them one step closer to a buying decision, removing the friction from the process. And, you know, I've been doing e-commerce marketing, digital marketing my entire life. Everyone loves to gravitate towards the wall preview or the live preview with AR. But the reality is when you do this for any period of time, it's not about one individual feature. It's about all the features working in conjunction, and you never know which one's going to end up. If we think of a sports analogy like a basketball team, it's how many players you have on the court that can contribute, right, to eventually scoring that basket. And so it's why we do the demo process. We have literally hundreds and hundreds of features, all to remove the friction, all to help you get better at selling art and photography online. And when you request one of these things, our outreach team will reach out, have a conversation with you, and schedule it. It goes like an hour and 10 minutes, and we just go through feature after feature after feature. So it's not about any one of them. It's about all of them working in conjunction. Independent of that, let's keep working down the page. So we also have a ton of back-end software. It turns out running an art business, art photography business, there's a ton of individual little nuance and things that can slow you down, okay? Things like uploading an image and how many images do you have to upload to your web page for all the various different media sizes and types you have. It's very helpful to be able to just upload one, have all the sizes auto-populate for you, and tell you exactly what you can sell. Things like markups. How do you set markups? Can you do it globally? Can you do it per media type, right? And so no one likes to talk about the back-end features, but we have a slew of those as well, all there to make your life easier, to give you time back, okay? Let's talk about our fulfillment. And we love talking about this. This is in our company DNA pretty significantly, but I'll pull up a website. So we're on Bill Stidham's site. Or I should probably start here, actually. So we are integrated. Well, let me start here. You can have it any which way you like. If you're an artist that just does originals and you get orders, obviously you're going to be responsible for fulfilling the originals because you have them. If you're an artist that has a local printer or a photographer that has a local printer, you really like using your printer, you can use your printer. The orders come in, you send the order to your printer. We call that self-fulfillment, no problem. What we recommend our customers do, though, is integrate with one of our print partners, and I'll get into the reasons why. But we've got Graphic Dimensions on the East Coast. We've got Bay Photo on the West Coast. We've got Print Partner for our customers in Canada. And then we just recently integrated with a company called Guten that handles the merchandise, and I'll get into that in a second. How does it work? You sign up. You get your site set up, which usually takes 14 days or less. You click a button. It says, I want to integrate with this print partner. An order comes into the website. The printer gets paid. You get paid. The order gets printed. The order gets boxed. Your logo goes on the side of the box. Boom, it ships to the customer. You touch absolutely nothing. There's nothing you have to touch, nothing you have to do. All happens automatically. And again, it's to give you back that amount of time. And, no one has time in today's day and age to be dealing with the admin, okay? Any time that you spend on the admin, by which I mean sending the order to your local printer, checking on the proof, sending tracking numbers, did it ship, any of that correspondence, all of that, if you're spending your time on that, is time you are not spending on your biggest problem, which is your marketing. So we really believe like streamlining sort of this drop shipping, print on demand, automated fulfillment is a very, very wise decision if you want to create successful artists and photographers. Now, just recently, this was probably like a month before Christmas maybe, we integrated with a company called Guten. And what it allows our customers to do is sell merchandise of a myriad of different kinds. Hoodies, iPhone cases, tank tops. They can come in, adjust the image exactly how they want to see it. Maybe they want to tilt it depending on what case it is, and get iPhone cases and a number of different other items. We've got throw pillows and I clicked out of it, and coffee mugs, and we're adding more and more and more and more of these. And on the subject of merch, we realize, again, if you go back to our original mission, why we exist, we need to create a set of circumstances, a set of conditions such that the artist, the photographer, can make and grow as successful a business as they want. And so some artists look at this merch and they're like, they turn their noses up at it and like, that's not fine art. Why would I ever want to do that? Some are like, I'm all in, I love it. We don't care. Our job is to provide as many different opportunities for artists and photographers to be successful as possible. And we've been totally blown away by how much of this stuff actually, believe it or not, sells. And some of it is higher margin than you would think. Like a throw pillow is $44, and what does a tote bag cost? I think a tote bag costs $38. So sell it or not, you have every opportunity imaginable available to you. If you want to have it all, in kind of like Bill does here on his site, where you have your fine art media types across the top, and then you have the merch all in one product page, great. If you want to have individual items in the store, you want to have your artwork, fine, and then you just want to have a line of phone cases. If you want to have one for a couple of weeks and then turn it off, you can do any and all of that, and it's one click to turn it on at any point in time. It's automated. It's completely automated in terms of fulfillment, and that's not going to change. And we realize, again, like, artists and photographers are essentially just creators, right? You're just creators, and you have a talent. You have a talent with a brush, or you have a talent with a lens. You want to monetize that talent, okay? So again, our job is to give you as many different opportunities to be able to monetize that talent as possible. So that's how we go about it. And again, it's a debate about when to use it or when not. But somebody on one of these sessions earlier was like, who's the greatest rock band of all time? I was like, no, who? He's like, the Rolling Stones. He goes, guess what the Rolling Stones have at their concerts? I said, what? A giant booth for merch. He's like, they sell hundreds of thousands of dollars of it a year. If the Stones sell it, I'll sell it. So anyway, I thought that kind of stuck with me. It was fun. So that's our print fulfillment. And I should say, too, that we're adding calendars, and we're adding puzzles, and we are adding photo books. And to be honest with you, if they come out with a line of hot air balloons, we'll add hot air balloons too, right? Because again, it's creating a set of circumstances such that the artist and photographer can be successful. We don't care where the success comes from. I don't care if Brian gets into business and he's the number one iPhone selling case guy of the entire United States. He's got a successful business, right? So not for us to decide. Support. We believe we have best-in-class support. If you took a look at our Facebook ads and you scrolled through the 350 of them, you'll see more positive responses for the support than just about anything else. We're very, very good at this. Yes, it's in all the venues you think it is: email, phone, chat support. But in addition to that, kind of what I'm most proud about is we run 6 days a week, including Saturdays, Zoom sessions, just like the one you're on right now, okay? And you can pop into one at any point in time with any support-related issue and get fixed, get unstuck. There's screen shares. They can take over control of your computer and just get you sorted instantaneously. So we're very, very good at it. Not only do we support our application, we ask you guys, we teach you guys marketing all year long, which I'll get into in a second. What if you're having a problem with Facebook or with Instagram or with MailChimp or with your Facebook ads? We actually support that too. You can pop into a Zoom session and say, hey, Patrick, I'm stuck on my Facebook ads. I'm getting this message. Can you help me? And our team will get you unstuck. That's an amazing thing. There's not many companies that do that, so I'm very, very proud about that. That's in terms of the overall website picture. And we essentially do all of that, okay, to give you your time back such that you can work on the biggest problem that every single solitary person on this Zoom call has, which is their marketing problem. You need to get better at it. And let me tell you, I've got 4,700 customers, and there's only one universal truth about every one of them, right? Every niche imaginable, every subject matter, all over this country and others, every one of them has a marketing problem. The person that just passed $500,000 a year in sales has a marketing problem. They want to grow that business, they have a marketing problem. The person that just is getting started, sold their first piece, they have a marketing problem, and everybody in between, right? It is the biggest problem. And so, we want to create successful customers. We realize we need to teach artists and photographers how to market. And so how did we solve for that particular problem? We created collectively what might as well be called the Art Business University. That's how we look at it, because I'm not sure there's a better term to explain it. One, we have the best digital education that exists in terms of selling art and photography online, full stop. I'm hang my hat on this. We have detailed documentation that we call playbooks on every marketing facet imaginable. How to run an email campaign, how to run a Black Friday sale, how to go live on Instagram, how to go live on Instagram and Facebook at the same time, how to go live on Instagram and Facebook at the same time with your laptop on a cell phone. Detailed, step-by-step, audio, video, screenshot documentation. If we're asking you to send emails, we will give you the email copy. You just adjust it to taste for what you're doing. So the playbooks are incredible. They're very robust, and they're very focused on teaching you how to market. We pair that with a 365-day-a-year marketing calendar, okay? It has on it beginner, intermediate, and advanced. You take on what you can take on. You're never not knowing what you need to be doing on a week-in, week-out basis. You start doing, first, you're overwhelmed. You're like, I've never done this. This is crazy. How am I going to survive? And then you fight through it, and you got through the beginner level. And then you take on the intermediate, and then you take on the advanced. The majority of our customers follow this doggone near verbatim year in, year out, because it works. It's effective. Not only does it tell you what to do, but it solves for one of the other greatest pandemic of our lifetime, the shiny object syndrome, okay? Not only does the calendar tell you what to do, it tells you what not to do, okay? What not to be spending your time on, right? And how do I know this? One, I'm very good at digital marketing. Two, we have 4,700 customers, and I get to see all of their data. I can tell everyone on this call conclusively, out of the 4,700 customers that I have not seen anyone turn a positive ROI at marketing on Pinterest. No one is making any money from marketing on Pinterest. So I'm going to tell you, you don't have to worry about Pinterest. I see you laughing, Mary. I do not want you spending any time on Pinterest, period. Waste of time. So too with SEO, okay? So the calendar is equally powerful on what you need to focus on is what you ignore, okay? It's what you ignore, and that's a big deal. Number 3 of the Art Business University is what we call office hours, okay? We take the entire customer base, we split it into 3. Until you sell $2,000 directly on your website, you're in the traction group. And after you sold $2,000 on your website, you're in the ramping group. After you sold a much higher revenue threshold that we don't publish, you get in the advanced group, which we call growth. We hold week in, week out, every single solitary week, and we took 1 week off for New Year's, but essentially 48, 49 weeks a year. Zoom calls like this. You come on a weekly basis. It's either me or members of my team. We go over the playbooks. We go over the calendars. We talk about wins. Somebody landed an interior decorator and sold $35,000 worth. They're going to come on and tell their story. Not only are they going to come on and tell their story, they're going to say, here's the email that did it. Here's the copy. Here's the Facebook post, and you can go and look at that stuff, right? And you're learning in concert with your peers. Digital online education is not enough, okay? If you look at the stats out there, I don't care who it is, Kajabi or Masterclass or lynda.com, 30% of the people that buy those courses actually finish them. So we can't just have digital education. We have to have in-person teaching sessions, and everyone knows how to Zoom now. It's our new reality. So those sessions, which we started like, I think 2 weeks, 3 weeks ahead of the pandemic, have been the single solitary biggest fundamental change to our business we've ever had. If before the pandemic, I had 100 customers, and I told those 100 customers via email, guys, Black Friday's coming. You got to get going on your sale. Here's the playbook, right? And then I recorded a podcast episode, and I was like, we're going to do this. 35 out of the 100 would take action. After these video sessions where I'm able to go through things, people are able to ask their questions, raise their hands, get unstuck, learn your peers, I have 75 people taking action on that sale, and it's fundamentally changing the business. It is making our customers more successful, more accountable, actually staying focused. Like, look, you guys are all solopreneurs for the most part. I mean, we could pull this entire group, and not a lot of you guys have a big team. You don't have an office behind you where you're yelling at an intern to help you out. You are a solopreneur, okay? You know, myself, the CEO, we've been entrepreneurs our entire life. I know it's a roller coaster. I know there's highs and the lows. When you're on those lows, you need a kick in the pants, right? You need to be lifted up sometimes, and that's what these Zoom sessions do too, which is incredible. We follow it up with a Facebook group that is highly curated, okay? There's no trolls. There's no nonsense in there, right? You've seen some of the other groups out there online and how ridiculous it gets in those things. And artists are sharing with other artists. Photographers are sharing with other photographers. The people that are in the landscape niche are talking to others in the landscape niche. Hey, guys, what do you think of this new direction? What did you use in terms of pricing? They're publishing their wins. And so sometimes you can't just hear it from us, the official company mouthpiece. And so it's nice to have a whole bunch of people that are doing the same journey at the same time, helping each other out, sharing, what are you doing here, what are you doing there. So that collectively is the Art Business University, and it's like a college. I mean, it really is. And the difference is you pay your tuition, you come in, and there's no graduates because the learning never stops, right? And in addition to that, it never will stop. In today's digital marketing landscape, the goalposts are just constantly moving, right? Like so quickly, you feel like you just learned something and it moves over here. So we keep you up to date with all of that. As a final, about 6 months ago, or maybe 5 months ago now, we started an in-house marketing agency. And it's an in-house marketing agency that only does one thing. It helps artists and photographers sell more art online and off. And we believe already, as of today's date, it's the biggest sole-focused art and photography marketing agency in the world. And that's not hyperbole. I've been asking on these calls, can someone name me an agency that specializes only in helping artists and photographers sell their work? I haven't found one. No one's ever put one in the chat for me, especially not a big one. Why? Because my aforementioned point, selling art and photography is not like selling swim fins or ladies' handbags or scooters. It's hard, right? It's really hard. And we're good at it because we've been working at it for a long time. Also, I get upset, right? Because I look at all of you guys as like, you own a McDonald's, right? And if you owned a McDonald's, you have to know how to do the ordering. You have to know how to clean the floors. You have to know how to open the building. You have to know how to operate the drive-through window. You have to be able to flip burgers and fries and do all of that and do the ordering, right? Like, it's your business. You need to understand those things. But at the same time, I'm not naive in the sense that 80% of our customers still have full-time jobs, or in some capacity. Maybe they're service-based photographers and they're trying to sell their fine art. So I get it. You need to be able to have the ability. If you don't have the time to do the marketing and you have the resources, you need a la carte things that you can jump off the shelf. Hey guys, I need my Instagram profile tuned up. I need my Facebook page tuned up. I need to help with a sales campaign. You need to be able to do that sometimes. In addition to things like, we'll completely build your website for you. You don't want to do that. You hate building websites. Your fears in life, in order, are death, taxes, and building another website. I get that, right? So you can drop your images in a folder, tell us to build the site, we'll build the site for you, okay? We'll manage your Facebook ads, okay? We will manage all of your social posting. And again, it goes back to the top premise. Like, our job is to create successful customers. And so we looked at it 6 months ago, and it's like, we need to have an agency. And then some people are like, well, I want to do it myself. Fantastic. Our job is to have the best DIY product, do it yourself, learn, come on the sessions, and then also have an agency where you can pay. And again, it's a la carte, or it's, almost full service. And the amazing thing about it is, I've been doing marketing a long time, right? What do all marketers love? A case study. Oh, we love a case study, right? With the sexy data about this huge win, and we publish it on social media, and we use it for lead generation. So totally did that all the time, okay? Guilty, and if you lose, you don't publish it, right? You wait till you hit a winner and do all that. But it used to be, I would go and run a case study with a customer, and I'd have limited bandwidth to do that, and then we would build the playbooks. Well, guess what I have now? I've got agency staff. I've got one guy that all he does all day long is spruce up Instagram pages for artists and photographers. He did 65 of them last week, or probably 65 last month. So imagine the learnings that we're getting. What happens is the learnings are going right back into the playbooks, and then they're coming onto the Zoom sessions and they're teaching, and we've got a little flywheel going on, right? We've got a little artist and photographer education flywheel. So it doesn't matter if you ever order a single solitary service from the agency, and we don't even care if the agency ever makes any money, in all honesty, because all it does is just improves the product, makes more successful customers, and helps us grow. So we really, at the end of the day, are fundamentally a business that can be thought of as a rowboat, right? It takes our oar, your oar, we jump in the boat in the same time, and if we can get that thing rowing in the same direction, the faster we can get that going, the better everybody does. So that's Art Storefronts in a nutshell. That's my presentation. All right, and it looks like my camera is derping out. Typical. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can fix this. In the meantime, what I'll be doing really in short order is opening everything up to the Q&A, and there's a couple different ways you can do that. And again, just bear with me. I got a new webcam this week because my children destroyed my last one, and I'm still trying to figure out how it all works. What I do in terms of the Q&A is, if you look at the bottom of the participants window in Zoom, if you mouse down to the thing at the bottom, it says participants, there's a way for you to digitally raise your hand, meaning you can press a little raise hand button, and that lets me know hey, such and such has got a question, and I usually work down those hand raises first. And then, if you want to be on camera, by the way, when you ask your questions, great. If you don't want to be on camera, also totally fine. Oh, good. I'm starting to figure it out. So you can do it that way. There's a bunch of people that have left questions in the chat, so I will get to those in short order, and go down the list on those as well. And then, we're streaming this thing live on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, not Instagram this time. And so if you're watching there and you have a question, you can certainly leave one there, and I will answer that as well. So all of those are options. What I would say, independently, and I sort of said this on the Wednesday session, these things are like always sort of evolving, but it was really funny. Last week, there was a gal, she's since signed up and become a customer, but there was a gal there, and she's like, okay, can I just ask you a question? My husband's hearing bits and pieces of this, and, he's asked me to ask you, could you sum up what you guys do in a sentence or two, right? And I was sort of put on the spot by that, and it was really funny too, because the lady was sitting there, and her beautiful art behind her, and perfectly coiffed, well put together woman, and then her husband standing on the side of the laptop over here. He's like, just to let you know, I'm not going to be on this video, but I want you to say it to me in a sentence. And he was like over here, not on camera. I don't know. It was really funny. And I essentially said, yeah, marketers suck, and artists suck at marketing, and we teach them to market. That was the answer. And he laughed and ha 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 ha. Then since then, I had a call with a customer every once in a while. Like, every software company measures how happy their customers are by this metric called NPS, Net Promoter Score. And I had this lady, that was upset. And so support was like, she's got really bad marketing questions. Can you just talk to her? And I was like, okay, I'm going to talk to her. And so I got on the call. Delightful woman. I'm not going to say her name, but she's in Northern Arkansas. And, tech is really, really new for her. She does not have a great level of technical acumen. She's struggling with the tech piece of everything that we're asking her to do. And, she was asking me some questions about this or that. And I sat there and I sort of had the epiphany when I was talking to her. I was like, yeah, this hurts me inside. I know you are struggling. I know this is not second nature to you. I know this is making you pull your hair out of your head. But what are the alternatives? What are the alternatives if you're an artist or a photographer in today's day and age, and we're still in the pandemic? I mean, there are wild pronouncements about how long it's going to last, this, that, and the other. But where are you supposed to sell your art or photography? Are you supposed to not learn how to market digitally and pivot, I guess, is for lack of a better word, to the facts on the ground? Are you just supposed to hope that a year from now or a year and a half from now or 2 years from now or whatever it is, the shows and fairs are back up to full strength, or that the galleries are going to open back up and those are going to be viable channels to sell art? And, I just sat there and I was like, as terrifying as this is, that you're going to have to learn how to market digitally in today's day and age, I don't know what the alternative is. I honestly don't know what the alternative is. And really what it comes down to, and I say this all the time, because we have enough customers, I can make this blanket statement. I sort of alluded to it in the video a little bit. Every single solitary person in this Zoom call has an attention problem. Art Storefronts as a business has an attention problem. We need more attention in order for us to sell more people on our total art selling platform. You guys all need more attention, more eyeballs, such that you can sell more of your art, more of your photography. It's either that or you get more out of the attention that you do have. You get more orders and higher average order value out of the attention that you do have. And that problem is just not going to change anytime soon. And, there was an economist slash scientist in the 1970s, and this guy was way ahead of his time. I forget what his name is, but I can pull the quote up. And he said, when you live in an age of information abundance, attention is the scarce resource. And he said that in the 70s, which is crazy. Like in the 70s, you had ABC, CBS, and NBC. You went there to get your news. You went there to get your sports. You went there to get your entertainment. If you were an advertiser, there were all the people that you were targeting on those three networks. Fast forward to today. Not only do we have a little bit more on TV than ABC, NBC, and CBS, 70, 80, 90, 100 channels, then go to the smart TV. Talk about all those apps. Talk about Apple TV and Roku boxes and Android boxes and whatever else and everything that's on YouTube and everything's on the 27 different types of YouTube. And so you realize when the the whole attention of the whole world is pulled in so many different directions and so fragmented. The whole ball game is how much of it you can get to your art, your photography. So, when that husband ambushed me with one sentence, that's what the sentence is. You guys all have a marketing problem. You need more attention to your art, to your photography, if you stand any chance of selling it. None of you guys have a website problem. Unless you have a tremendous amount of traffic and a tremendous amount of eyeballs that are already coming to your website, okay, fine. You switch to our website, we're going to drastically change the business. But what every single solitary one of you need is help with your marketing. And, artists, photographers are not good at it. And, in a one-word sentence, that's what we do. That's what our storefront says. That's what it'll continue to do. We just continue to look for ways in which artists and photographers can get more attention, i.e. be able to make more sales, and then, get more out of the attention that they do have. Raise your average order value. Why we added merch in addition to the prints, right? So I don't know. It's a profundity. It's a crazy thing about the world that we live in today's day and age. But okay, Dan, you got your hand up first, so I'm going to go to you first in terms of a question. You'll have to unmute your mic. I'll let you know when you get it, or you're on the phone, so you just press the unmute button on your phone, and then you can get going on the question. I'll let you know when you get it, Dan. It's down there somewhere. It's usually just, I think when you're on the phone, it's like a mute icon. Yeah, you got it. Go ahead.
Hey, thanks. Sorry about that. Okay.
No worries.
Hey, so I have a question. The question is, so like what type of traffic level in terms of just total count are you trying to target?
More.
I mean, especially
more.
Coming off of, a very early growth stage web gallery.
Right. So you've got a website up now, you've done some marketing, just not a whole lot of marketing. Is that sort of what you're saying?
That's right. Yeah. It's just mainly through Instagram ads and posts. And, I think like in the past 3 weeks, we're talking like 500 visitors or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Not all traffic is created equal, which is kind of why you can't just generally boil it down to traffic. I mean, a better metric is email addresses, leads, right? People that you can market to in the future, than just traffic at a macro, right? Because I can go in and do a Facebook ad and I can send 10,000 people for extremely cheaply to your website tomorrow, and not a single solitary one of them will buy, right? So the traffic can tend to be a bit of a vanity metric. But the larger question is, everybody starts with what they start with in terms of traffic, and they start with in terms of what they start with an email address. What do you want? You constantly want more, and it's less about one individual number, and it's more about, I'm going to give my business 6 hours a week of marketing, and we're going to show you how to do that in the highest ROI positive manner, return on investment, ROI, your time, your energy, your effort, your dollars, and then give it to me for 52 weeks a year, right? Which no artists or photographers ever do. Like normally it's like, this is my year and I'm going to get really excited about marketing, and you're going to market for 3 months and you're going to be like, where's my wave of sales? And then you quit and then you don't do anything for the rest of the year, right? Like no one ever does it consistently. So it's more about starting there, understanding that's the situation, and then just go consistently and never stop. Does that make sense?
So your focus is on constant lead generation, but it's really more on the quality of the traffic.
Yeah. I mean,
more than the number.
Yeah, I mean it's more all of it, right? It's all of it. Like we believe that and I sort of give the analogy that every artist, every photographer needs to develop the marketing muscles. Sort of the analogy I give is you need to be able to do 100 push-ups in one sitting, right? Which is really, really hard, right? That's like really hard to do. So you have to train a bunch to get there. And so what are the 100 push-ups? Yes, you have to be capturing emails all the time, right? From every different traffic source. And we walk you through what the strategies are to do that. Yes, you need to be emailing that list with a regular frequency, okay? Yes, you need to be posting to the socials with a regular frequency. Yes, you need to be running sales when the time of the year is right, especially in Q4, but there's other holidays, Mother's Day, maybe you're into photographing bridges, and then there's going to be National Bridge Day. So there's going to be a number of days where you need to run a sale. You need to understand and be taught the mechanics of how to run a sale, everything from the incentive and the scarcity, i.e. the discount, how long the sale lasts, how to announce a sale, what do you do during the sale, how do you follow up on warm opportunities, what does it look like when you attach ads to it, how do you follow up after the fact, what about extending the sale? There's a bunch of mechanics that go into running a sale, critically important. we believe that you need to be running live art shows, and we teach you how to run live art shows. You can do that by broadcasting directly onto the socials. And so it's basically a whole bunch of different actions like that that constitute being able to do the 100 push-ups. Once you're in that position and you can do that, then you're ready to start having an honest conversation about paid traffic, specifically advertising on Facebook and Instagram. If you have that entire marketing muscles built and you're doing that, then you're actually in a position where you can see an ROI from ads, right? Which is a huge deal. So that's what we teach all year long, and it's quite literally a combination of everything, right? Yeah, it's some of the socials. Yeah, it's what you're hoping to get organically. Yeah, you're going to be driving traffic with your email list, and then we have some hacky things that we've learned along the way that we don't necessarily publish that deal just with lead generation, right? Some things that center around print giveaways, and then some things that leverage some of the socials in unique ways to generate leads.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. But I love that you're doing it and working on it already. And as a final, Dan, before you mute, stop boosting the post. Stop boosting the post on Instagram. Okay. What you can do is send the money to me in a jar. I will keep it for you. And then when you're actually ready to advertise, you can spend it. But what you're doing right now is lighting that money on fire. I know it. I know you're lighting that money on fire. Because until you have the targeting in place, and you understand the true dynamics of like Facebook and Instagram ads, when you just go and boost those posts, Instagram just comes back with a bunch of likes, a bunch of shares, a bunch of comments, but not a lot of sales, huh?
Yeah, that's true. And I guess like ultimately maybe the question, and this is something like, so when you're looking at people's interests, right? I mean, it's obviously very difficult to target like an art buyer based on interest because, you know, like someone like me especially doesn't understand the correlation that, okay, if I'm sending a targeted ad, for example, because I paint, let's just say horses or something, and, you know, people that are into equestrian sports or My Little Pony or whatever, you know, aren't necessarily like, they seem like the obvious pick, but maybe the correlation is more like, I have no idea. No, my husband loves John Wayne movies or something, you know?
Yeah,
is that something that you guys have a background in terms of the data there?
Oh, massively so, but that's not what it is, right? Do we have a background in terms of the data? Yes, massive, right? Like I get a look at everyone's analytics. I know it ends up working. Do I have a massive background in Facebook and Instagram ads? Yeah, I've managed over $3 million in spend, but that's not where you have it wrong. Where you have it wrong is you think that, you know, the way to make money, and everyone thinks this, on Facebook, on Instagram with ads is you're going to compose an ad that's going to say, check out my work. You're going to put a discount on it. You're going to have a link to your website, and you're going to go and throw that ad out there to whatever targeting you figure out, okay? And you're hoping that there's going to be enough people that click on that and then come back and buy such that you've achieved an ROI in the short term to pay for the cost of the ad, right? And what I can tell you is that is not how art is sold. What essentially happens is that, let's say you show your Instagram ad to 1,000 people, okay? And you in your mind are like, out of those 1,000 people, there's 15 people with their hand raised up, ready to buy art right now. And they're going to see my ad and they're going to buy it. What you don't understand is that there's only one person with their hand up right now that's ready to buy art, and you stand maybe a 50-50 chance on getting it. When I said the marketing muscles, the difference between someone that makes money running ads like that and someone that doesn't is consistent marketing, because not everybody you show that ad to is ready to buy art right then, right? And so if you don't have the consistent marketing machine, you may get their attention and you may get them to like your Instagram page. And then 2 weeks later, an Instagram post might actually get them on your email list. And then a year and a half later, they might actually move out of their small apartment into a big house and be ready to buy art. And they're like, okay, where's Dan? What's he got for me? That's how art actually sells. Everyone thinks in their mind that it sells, I put an ad on Facebook or Instagram, and there's a bunch of people like this standing with their hand up. I'm ready to buy art. I'm ready to buy art. Not how it sells. So, you know, you are forever doomed to light that money on fire until you have the consistent marketing muscles in place. And I get so infuriated, right? Because how many different gurus and people selling courses out there, and I know dead to rights that they are completely full of it, okay? I have been doing this a long time, and you do not make money advertising art to cold traffic People that did not know you, do not have a relationship, have never been to your site, have never been to your Instagram. It does not happen. It does not happen almost at all, even if you have the marketing muscles. You need to start your advertising campaign. You really got me fired up on this on a Friday, by the way. I'm sorry. I'm giving you both barrels here, but I'm doing so out of love. You don't even start going after cold. You don't start going after cold traffic at all. Okay, all traffic is not created equal. Cold traffic, warm traffic. Let's start with warm traffic. Warm traffic is you walk into a bar, and every single solitary person in that bar has some familiarity with you, all the way up to like they know everything about you. They went to high school with you, right? So it can be everyone from they just saw your Instagram post one time. Okay, but they know you, or they visited your website one time, or they're on your email list, or they've seen everything you've done for the last 20 years. That's warm traffic. You have to start your advertising to those folks. If you can't make that pay, you will never make the cold pay. And yet there's so many people that are out there running around, buy my Facebook ads course. It's like the same school that trained all these yahoos that are saying, give me $2,500 and I'll SEO your site and put you on directories. It's going to rain buyers for you. Those idiots got figured out, and now they've moved over to Facebook ads, and they're like, take my course on Facebook targeting. So anyway, you got me fired up about it because I hear about this so often, but I don't want you to lose that money, right? And whether you ever sign up for us, I'm telling you, you have to learn how to market, and you have to commit to doing it consistently. If you're capable of doing that, you stand a chance at making it. And as a final, I'm just going to give you the analogy. Paid traffic in general, okay, is like fishing, right? It's like fishing. And Dan's got a boat, and I've got a boat. And Dan is not doing his consistent marketing, okay? He's not doing his consistent marketing. He's doing some, but he's just, every once in a while, he's throwing some money into the Instagram casino. Okay, we have the same boat, the same captain, the same amount of gas. We steam out to the ocean together, Dan and I, in search of fish. Dan has the same boat, but he only has one line in the water because he's not doing consistent marketing. Well, guess what? The ocean's a pretty big place, okay? And sometimes the fish are under your boat. Sometimes they're 3,000 miles away. Sometimes they're 3,000 miles down at the bottom. The difference between your boat and my boat is on my boat, I've got fishing lines. I've got lobster pots. I've got harpoons. I've got kites. I've got nets. I've got everything because I am marketing consistently. And so my boat goes out, your boat goes out, and guess what? Sorry, you didn't get lucky, right? But me, on the other hand, I've got so many lines in the water, I'm ready to catch everything because I'm marketing consistently, okay? So you don't stand a chance. Go to the liquor store and buy a lotto ticket. It's the same odds. Or if you live in Vegas, you know what to do.
That's a really good lesson. Thanks,
Yeah.
Patrick.
Yeah. I'll save you that money, I promise. I'll save you that money, I promise. I'm sorry to like go off on him, but just people are falling victim to this like guru thing. And like when you've done this for any period of time, like I can instantaneously be like, no, you are lying, and I know you're lying. Stop it. Right? There is no button, and I say this all the time. There's no button on the ATM machine, okay? And if anyone wants to challenge me on this, I will come to your house and pick you up, and you show me the button on the ATM machine for likes, for comments, for shares, for I love your work, for I'm in a juried show. None of those buttons on the ATM machine are going to spit out any money that's going to allow you to live as an artist or have a valuable career. So don't buy into it, right? Okay. Michael, you have just like a bunch of questions in here. I'm just going to try and unmute you. Michael, Ryan, and then I'll start with you, and then I know Billy, yeah, Brian does too. Why don't you start at the top? So okay, so you said you're supposed to start with Matt on Tuesday. No, that's different, Michael. I'm sorry, I got like multiple in here. Just start with your first question. How about that?
I don't even remember what I asked first, but I was asking about whether this is going to be archived, and you said it's going to be sent to us in a link.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that. So usually we mention some links. We have this video. It gets recorded. Once it's like done doing its thing, we'll send all of you guys an email so you don't have to write anything down, and it'll have the replay and everything else.
Yeah. I guess are we all on our own in terms of pricing our work?
Yes, but we give you pretty specific guidelines on what we recommend and what we advocate. We usually advocate. So the way that the web software works is you have total control over everything, right? But you can make it easy or you can make it hard. Let me say easy. 250% markup across the board. And I'm talking about for your prints, right? For your originals, you have to set those because, our system doesn't know what they cost, right? We say 250% across the board on all the prints because a lot of what we advocate involves running sales. A lot of people get sensitivity on sales. The only two companies in the world that don't run sales that I'm aware of is Tiffany's and Louis Vuitton. Every other brand in the world runs sales. Somebody also told me is Hermes scarves. Or is Hermes more than scarves? I don't know. I honestly don't. I know it's a big company, but I don't know anyone else that doesn't run sales, okay? Everyone else does. So we'll never want you to be in a position where you're marking your work down 10, 15, 20% and then not have the margin built in there to do that, right? So that's how we do that. In terms of pricing the originals and just pricing the work in general, anytime you're running a business like this, in a digital business in specifically, rather than get emotionally wrapped up into my too high or my too low or wherever you are, because people screw up on both ends, too high and too low, ask yourself, is the decision I'm about to make a reversible decision or not? And if it's easily reversible, you have nothing to worry about because you can change it. And we have to always tell ourselves that. Like, we have this as like a premise on our company. Like, is this a reversible decision or not? If it is, then just go. What are you asking me for? Because you can change it right back, right? Like, we could have all the prices on your store marked up 2,500% and take it live right now today. And you could have it there for a month and everyone was complaining. Okay, guess what? Let's take it down. No one's going to care. No one's never, oh my gosh, Michael raised his prices up 6 years. Like, no one's ever going to know that. No one cares, right? So you can raise them up, raise them down at any point in time. We have certain advice. If the work's not selling at all, then probably not a good idea to raise it, right? But sometimes, believe it or not, people price too low, and then when they raise it, they actually sell more because there's a higher perceived value. So it's not like, chiseled in stone the right way to do it. The only thing to chisel in stone is, is it reversible? Yes. Then let's just get it in the water, start marketing, and find out, right?
I also asked you, will you cover a few basics on how people find your websites? And I think you did.
Yeah.
Capture the emails, email them regularly.
Yes.
You post on socials, you run specials.
Yeah.
You have live art shows, and only then, and those are the muscles you're talking about, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then only then do you do paid ads once you get all those things going, right?
Yeah, exactly right. Once you have, and that's where like that fishing line analogy comes in, right? Like you can't afford to go fishing until you have all those various different lines in the water. All those lines in the water are doing all the normal, regular marketing activities that today's day and age calls for, and it takes a while to build it. It takes a while to build those up, right? But we normally say too, like, we're always playing with the number, but we really don't want you getting into running ads at all until you've sold at least $2,500 worth of art directly from your website. Just because, you have to figure out if you have a product the market really wants first, right? And a lot of people say, well, I've sold art my whole career. It's like, okay, if that's the case, it'll be very easy for you to sell it online, right? But you need to validate to a certain extent too that you have a product the market really wants. Like, there are some people that come aboard that have been doing this for a long time, and they're selling like $30 or $40 or $50 or $60,000 a year, and it's like, okay, you're ready for ads immediately, right? But you obviously have something else figured out. But for everyone else, you got to get the marketing muscles first. Otherwise, it's like I told what was the other guy's name, Dan, that you're just going to be lighting the money on fire, So.
And I thank you. I'll let you go. I appreciate your time. The last question. I'm not the artist. My wife is.
Mm-hmm.
But do you get questions about haggling? Do people try to haggle with the artists online?
Oh, massively. In the higher up the price goes, the more the haggling happens. The higher up the price goes, the more the haggling happens. Like, that's the dirty little secret is like, and to answer your question, if it's a print sale, just whatever the price is online, not that much haggling, not usually, right? But the higher up you go in price, like there's a directly correlated relationship. The higher up you go, the more haggling there is, because wealthy people did not get that way by paying retail. Sorry, they just didn't. And when all of these artists come on to me too, and this is like another pet peeve, and they're like, people have told me never to have sales. It devalues my work, right? Or I would never put sales language on anything that my art is. Someone in art school told me that that's going to cheapen me and that people will never buy. And I sit there and I'm like, the people that gave you that advice have never sold a single solitary thing in their lives, right? Like, every single solitary high net worth individual that buys originals, and this gets particularly crazy once you're into the 15 and 20 and 30 and $40,000 range. Like, they don't pay retail ever. They're always grinding. So yes, the higher up you go, the bigger of a thing it is. Okay, I think Michael's done. Okay, David, are you still on here, David Holzman? Or was that the David that I talked to earlier? I don't know. David, I'm going to unmute you. And you'll need to hit the microphone icon in the bottom left. Yeah, gotcha.
Okay, yeah, I'm here.
Okay, so you've got a bunch of photos of classic cars over the years and years and years. You know,
Yeah.
part of me likes this niche because you have access, and this is just independent of anything else, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have access to wall space that no other artist gets access to. Do you know what room it's in?
No.
The garage. The
Oh.
garage. And that's what makes it kind of cool, right? Because, you know, you got a lot of like diehard car guys, okay, that all they want to do is have their incredible, beautiful car in the garage and then have something commemorating it on the wall, right? And so, you know, it's a profound statement, but it is literally a beachhead that your type of art, like, you know, there's not many that have access to it, right? Like, not many of us hang our fine art in the garage, but the gearheads do, right? Like, we want that kind of stuff in there, right? Like, I love it. So that part is interesting to me. But if you've got these years and years and years of work and you have been attempting to sell it, but you haven't sold much of it, like, give me some feedback on that.
Oh, you know, the only thing I've sold is T-shirts,
Okay.
and only with 2 cars on them, 58 Edsels and 57 Chevys.
Okay.
And you know, it didn't take off early on, and I haven't spent much time on it, but
Mhm.
sales have gone down to nothing over the last 5 or 6 years. You know, not that I've pushed it at all, but that's where that is. I haven't sold prints at all,
Mhm.
and I do have, you know, well, probably in the hundreds that would be worth that could be sold.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that aspect of it. The thing that concerned me the most in your chat was like, and let me just go right back to it because I remember it. Do you think this could help me take off, and how much work would it take on my part? I don't want to take away too much time from my writing business, right? And so, you know, you could have the best car images in the entire world, and the fact that you're not willing to put that much energy into this business, like,
Mhm.
what happens if you didn't put that much energy into your writing business? How would it do, right? Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
not
you
that I
can't
remember.
you can't 100% phone it in. What I would say to you is that, again, I like your niche. I think if you could mentally commit some portion of hours to attempting to grow this business and then stretch that over a 2-year commitment, then yeah, you're good to go. If you can't do that, then don't. Because it's not going to miraculously happen, right? Like, our software is really good, but it's not going to miraculously make fish jump in the boat. You're going to have to do the work and learn to do the marketing, right? Now, if you do that, again, you've got a niche that I find very interesting, that I really like. It becomes even more interesting once you get up the chain a little bit and you start getting some sales, because you can do some really interesting thing with advertising, because there's the 57 Chevy Club, right? There's the 1967 Corvette Club, and if you've got those images, you can show them just these people. They're also very easy to target. There's a lot of marketing. It's very easy marketing, right? You know, if I've got David sitting over here going, I've got classic cars all these years, right? And then I've got someone else here going, yes, I'd paint complete abstract art with multiple different colors. It's like, how the heck am I going to find the people that like abstract art with multiple different colors? Versus tell me how I'm going to find people that like 1967 Corvettes with the 427 aluminum block on Instagram. I can go get you 100,000 of those in 2 minutes, right? Like, very easy to do. So there's some aspects of what you do that I like, but you have to commit to do the marketing. Not going to come easy. Not going to come easy. You're like, thanks, coach. Appreciate that. I was looking for the easy answer, but it didn't come. But I think you should do it. And I also think, you know, one of the things that we've gotten into recently that we did a bunch of work on is integrating with this merch company, right? And I'm not prior to this, I wasn't the biggest fan of merch, okay? And I'm still not the biggest fan of merch, and I understand it more so now. But the reality is that you guys are just creators, right? You have a talent with the lens, or you have a talent with the brush, and you put in a bunch of work, and you have this incredible creativity that you created. My job, okay, because attention is so hard to get and attention is so hard to keep, is to give you as many creative ways to monetize the marketing that you do and make money, right? And you know, one of the areas that I see this in, and I'm going to go get my pile of merch so I can show it off all together here in one sec, is, you know, you're an artist, right? And these artists come in, they're like, I just want to do originals, or I've never done prints, I don't want to do prints. I'm just gonna do originals, and maybe occasionally I'll do, you know, a metal print or this or that or whatever. And it's like, if you have a store, and I come off the street and I walk into the store, and you only have 6 or 7 items in there, versus I come off the street and you have 80 items in there, which store am I going to spend more time in? Which store is likely to make more revenue, right? And
Yeah.
you kind of have to balance those things. But let me just show you, because I want to show you this. I really need to get some wireless headphones so I don't have to do that. So it helps when you see this, right? And so it sort of like expands your mind on the possibilities a little bit. But, you know, everyone can have the work, right? And it's a piece of art in a frame. But what about if I don't want to spend the money for the work, and maybe I just want the wall calendar, right? It's like, okay, I can get the wall calendar. What if instead of the wall calendar, I just want the tote bag, right? Have a nice little bag to go to the beach. What if instead of all of that, I just want a pillow, and it's like a car, right? And it's just kind of cheap, and I have the garage couch, right? And it's completely dirty. I actually don't want a nice pillow. I want like an inexpensive pillow with a 57 Chevy on it so I can throw it on my garage couch. So, you know, you start looking at that, and you start putting all the things together, and you start and you start attempting to understand, like, okay, I actually can have a legitimate store here. I can do it without holding any physical inventory whatsoever. And we are trying to add every item imaginable. We're trying to add every item imaginable, because what do I care? You guys are creators. It's really, really the challenge, the scarce resource, okay, is not talent. It is just attention. That's the hardest thing for everybody. So better do more. You got to be able to do more with the attention that you can do, right? So, yeah, that's what I'd say.
One thing that worries me is that, you know, the audience for my particular era is beginning to die off.
Oh, don't worry about that in the slightest. They are diehard. You know, you always want to look for a diehard niche, and people that love cars are a diehard niche. And trust me, they love the old cars just as much. I wouldn't worry about that in the slightest. It's still a very, very good niche. Extremely diehard.
Okay. And so you don't even have to, you wouldn't even have to develop inventory. You can just do this as, you know, every time there's an order.
Yeah, exactly right.
Which is great.
Good. Oh, that's so important. It's such an important. It's like storing it in minimum orders and the capital outlay to do that. Like, it's just not feasible. It's just not feasible. Yeah. That's one of the best parts of the whole model.
Incidentally, you're in Austin?
No, I'm in Southern California.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah, we're in a remote world these days. I'm one of the rare ones. So I've always sort of the whole time I've worked for the company, I've been in Southern California, which is where I grew up. But yeah, David, you just have a think on whether you want to do the marketing, and you can commit yourself. If you can, you know, you got it. If not, stick to writing.
Give me a sort of a minimum figure for the number of hours per week that.
Yeah, that's the same crystal ball question my mom asked her financial advisor if she's going to have enough money in retirement, and the financial advisor's like, I don't know what's going to happen in the markets, right? So the larger point is, and someone else asked me this question earlier about like median something or other, is
that was me.
That was you. Yeah, I understand where it's coming from. It's different for every person. Like I could go in the other room down the hall. My wife has a PhD in statistics, and I could bring her in here if she wasn't on the phone, and she would give us the statistical explanation for why you can't do that. There's no, you know, there's too many other factors that are different for everyone. So there is no median. Some people do a lot of work. Some people do no work, right? Some people have a hot niche. Some people's art is just not what the market wants. And so there's just no guaranteed payback. And if anyone tries to give you that, they are selling snake oil. So don't listen to them, right? Yeah.
Okay. Is there any way I can reach you to ask you a question or two if they arise?
Sure. You can always find me on these things. Otherwise, you got my email. You can just send me an email.
Okay, great. Thanks so much, Patrick. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure, dude. And I do really like that niche, but again, like, you know, you have to do the marketing, right? You have to do the marketing. Okay, Nancy's asking me a couple of things. One, the stadium behind me is Chelsea. I'm a huge American soccer fan, and the greatest American currently plays for this football club, so that's why I like them. Do you work to also sell licensing opportunities? No, but we teach you how to score licensing opportunities. Not we. We have. I'll get into that in a second. And then Nancy, yes, everyone owns the rights to everything. That's what happens with what we do on art storefronts. Margaret Tibbetts is asking, what happens if after 6 months of having art storefronts helping you with your art business and now you want to do everything on your own? Do we lose all that we've been built? No, not at all. When you sign up, you own everything for life. You know, there's a subscription fee to keep the subscription alive, but you know, you own all of it for life. That's a critically important thing about this, you know, entire world that we live in now. Like, you know, what if the offline revenue sources were working really well for you prior to the pandemic? Or what if a gallery was working really well? Or what if an online gallery was working really well? You didn't control the rules to any of those. You didn't own anything. You were just renting those venues. And the rules changed, and you were left with no recourse whatsoever, right? You can pull the rug out from underneath you. Now, I am pro revenue source that is working. So I'm not against any of those external revenue sources, but you cannot do any of those in lieu of. It has to be in addition to having your own website, having your own email list, and working all year on attempting to build it up and get more attention, because then a pandemic hits, whatever comes down the pike, and you have the ability to market to your customers without leaving the comforts of your house, which, as we've all come to find out, seems to be a big deal in today's day and age. So that's what I would say on that. Yes, Latoya, but it's not, you know, everyone, when you say our site, we're not a marketplace. We don't sell it for you. You upload it to our software, but it's your website, and yes, you can do everything else. What are the added fees for building your website, taking care of our Facebook ads? Oh, yeah. So we have an in-house agency that does all that stuff, and it's no different than any other marketing agency, right? A little bit different in the sense that there's one-off services off the shelf that you can go and get, or there's like fully managed regular recurring services. And so, you know, everything in between too, everything in between really. So there's a whole bunch of stuff there that's varying different costs for depending on what the service is. But you can ask them at any point in time. You know, the agency's been really funny thing to like launch and get going, because, you know, you can almost no photographer or artist wants to do any marketing whatsoever, right? Just full stop. You just don't want to do it, period. And we get that. I don't encourage that. Oops, sorry, something happened there. I don't encourage that, like, to not do the marketing, period. But, you know, our customer base is an 80-20. 20% of them are full-time artists. 80% of them have jobs and want to be full-time artists. So you have to, you know, you need some help sometimes on the marketing, right? Like, you can't do all of it on your own all the time. Yeah, that's what I've got there. Am I missing any other questions? I don't know. I'm going to go up the list. The wine fairy there. YouTubers that have my work in the backgrounds. That's kind of cool. I've been getting more work, so I'm going to morph this into a business. I left healthcare in the pandemic. I'm sorry to hear that. Concentrating on the joy, wine and art. Well, who doesn't like wine and art? So I like that name. Okay, so Arnold, you've been painting for 35 years on and off, and you've never marketed your art. And trust me, there's lots of you like that. How does your program help someone like me who has zero for an email? Yeah, the good old-fashioned chicken and the egg, which came first. We teach you all the ways to do it. We have a ton of people that sign up that don't have a single solitary Facebook presence, or, you know, a single solitary email on the list. And it turns out whether you have 1,000 emails on your list or you have one email on your list, they're built one email at a time. One email at a time. So that's how it goes. Give us sample fees for your support. Len, what do you mean? I'm going to unmute you because you're right there and I can see you. Do you mean the agency from the marketing agency? You'll still have to hit your mic. It's in the lower left-hand corner.
Yes. Just as an example, I mean, one to set up the website and then do some kind of an ongoing marketing support. I'm trying to understand what's the starting up costs and then what are the maintenance costs going forward.
Yes, but you're talking about not our service, but the in-house agency more, right? Or you're just saying all of it in general?
All of it, yeah.
All of it in general, yeah. So, I'm still trying to figure out the best way to articulate how we structure pricing, and this is where I've arrived. We're like every other website company in the sense that there is a monthly fee, right? A monthly fee to keep that up. So anyone that you use has one, and we have 3 different levels of plans. And I think they have 3 different levels of monthly fees that are $49, $59, $69. Don't quote me 100% on it because I honestly don't know. That's why we do the demo process, so they can walk you through all the pricing. And it's too much to keep one's. I don't know it all. So those fees you pay for life, whatever that is, the monthly subscription fee. In order to cover all of the people that teach you how to market all year long, all of my staff that run Zoom sessions like this week in and week out with customers, all the playbooks, all the everything, we essentially think of it as an art business university is what it is, right? That's absolutely what it is. And in order to cover that, you pay a one-time initiation fee. On the low end, it's $1,000. And then if you get like a 5-year plan or a 4-year plan, it's more than that. So to start, $1,000 down, the $49 a month, I think. Could be $39 or I don't know, you'd have to ask them. But that's how we do it. And it's a one-time fee, and that pays for your lifetime of marketing support and education. And I can't underscore how good it is. Like 6 days a week, you can jump into a Zoom session just like this one, raise your hand just like you did, and get support. Not only do we support our application, you can be having a problem with Facebook or a problem with Instagram or a problem with your email marketing software, and our people will get you unstuck, right? Amazing thing. So you pay a one-time fee to get into all of that, and then that's it. That's how it goes. And you can upgrade or downgrade at any point in time. The only difference between the highest plan and the lowest plan are a few features and bells and whistles. That's the software, right? That's the software. Agency is completely separate, and the agency does everything from, yes, they will set up your entire website, like the whole thing. You don't have to do anything. And I think that's slightly less than $1,000. I'm not 100% up on the prices. They can do completely managing your Facebook ads. They can spruce up your Instagram profile. They can spruce up your Facebook page. They can run a sales campaign for you. They can get leads, right? And all these different services cost different depending on what they are. Some of them are a couple $100, some are up to $1,000, I think, and everything in between. We might even have a landing page on this. The agency is only like 6 months old, so we're still sort of in the infancy in all of this thing. And despite my huge protest towards the idea in the first place, because no artist, no photographer, if you asked them, wants to do anything but just, be with their camera, be with their brush and create, right? Like none of them do. But you guys have to know how to run your business, right? And like the thing I always say is like, I look as you, Len, as someone that owns a McDonald's, right? And if you're going to own a McDonald's, I'm not saying you have to do this all the time, but you should know how to open the building and how to clean the restaurant up and how to do the ordering, right? And how to manage the cash register and how to flip burgers and how to do the drive-through window so you understand it, because that's your business, right? You don't have to do all that. You can pay people to do it, but I want you to know it. And sadly, we do get some people that are just like, look, I want to retire on my art business. I have a full-time job right now. I have the resources to pay to help me grow it. I'll do it later. And it's like, okay, I get it. I can't push back. I can't push back on that. I can't push back on that. But it's also cool too, because you saw me, and I feel bad for saying dress down. You saw me dress down the guy with the Facebook ads question, right? So, early on about his Facebook ads and lighting money on fire. No one seems to understand, normal marketing consultants, normal Facebook ads people, normal email copy people, how art actually sells. And so a lot of times what artists and photographers will do is they will go and they will hire somebody that doesn't know. It's not like they're bad people or they're bad at what they do. They just haven't been selling art and photography for a long time. So the point is that our agency services are really, really good. We know how to sell art and photography. We just keep getting better and better and better at it. And all of it just goes and builds back into the agency. And also, you don't ever have to use the agency even once, right? It's there for you if you need it. And like, again, all I care is that our customers are successful. So my job is over here on the left-hand side, have the best DIY do-it-yourself education that there is, right? So here's how to run Facebook ads, right? From start to finish, like 27 videos explaining everything in depth. You can do it on your own, Len. You don't need us. But also, if you're like, I don't care, I don't want to do this, I also have to have the ability, on the other hand, where you just write a check and get it done, right? So if I've got those two things covered, I've done everything that I can to cover my basis, which is sort of how we look at it. But again, we're like 6 months into it.
Well, I'll give you a quick background in the sense that I owned a marketing and advertising company.
Oh, cool.
But the fact is, I never would have hired myself.
Yeah.
I mean, I hired people that were qualified and all. I had a graphic design degree, but I wasn't hands-on in my own business.
Yeah.
And then I managed to sell the business, and now I'm retired and have thousands of photographs in my library on my hard drive from trips to Africa, the Arctic, flower. And so I've got a lot of images and inventory that I'd like to unlock and collect a few dollars for what's in the hard drive.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if you're willing to learn, and you're in your retirement now and you have a couple hours a week to throw at this thing, 3 to 5 hours a week, 10 hours a week, whatever you got, whatever you feel comfortable doing, and you're willing to do it consistently for the next couple of years, then it's worth doing. If you're like, I actually enjoy being retired, I like taking the photos and not doing anything else, then don't, right? Because it will take some work to build a viable business out of it, but there's a great opportunity to do it if you do, and what's interesting is if you love photography, you want to keep doing it, and you can potentially build a business that will continue to produce for the next 20 years, which is amazing, right? Like, it's one of the incredible things about this business. There's a lot to like about it. The hard part is the marketing part. But not keeping any inventory, selling in perpetuity one image for the next 20 years. Like, there's a lot of awesome to it, but you got to do the work.
Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. Okay. Yeah, Dan, you're asking the crystal ball question. Can you tell us about your success rate for artist photographers who are actually engaged in their business? No, because it's literally different for every single solitary person. Every single solitary person. There's just no, you can't reverse engineer from a time or an energy invested, and there's just literally no statistical way for us to even come up with that answer. I do need to ask my wife, because again, she does have a PhD in statistics. And Brad, you're unmuted next. How to actually answer that, but you can't compare your beginning to someone else's middle or end or anything in between. But anyway, Brad, go ahead.
Patrick, you really seem to know what you're talking about, and I really appreciate this. I have been doing photography. I started actually in public television and then got out of that because it didn't pay the bills, and had a family to raise. I'm now retired, but I've been doing photography my entire life.
Okay.
I've got a website set up. Everybody that goes there said, oh man, that's just a killer website. I love everything you have.
But
I've tried marketing with Facebook to no avail whatsoever.
Yeah.
But I've got a couple of questions about integrating your marketing with an existing website. So my first question is, if I have a website and I use you for the marketing, production, and mailing, do you have a payment system set up that integrates with my website so I don't have to get set up with Stripe and Visa and MasterCard and all these other things?
No, the short answer is no. If you sort of isolate our various different products, right? And we have what we call the marketing product, which is, we teach you to market, all the do-it-yourself stuff, the live teaching, the courses, all that. So you could potentially sign up and just use that, and you could get much better at gathering an email list and marketing your art and not use the website that we have at all, right? Possibility, totally. Okay. Why you could keep your same website, the way that it works and everything else, and do what we call, why am I blanking on the name because it's Friday and it's been a long week. You could run it on a subdomain, right? And so let's say you've got bradcookphotography.com, and that points to the website that you have currently, and you set up your art storefront site at store.bradcookphotography.com, right? And you have a little button on your current website that when they want to add something to their cart or whatever, they go to the actual shopping experience. You could do it that way. Why I would advocate against that is a great deal of our marketing prowess is built into the software. And It's the little features that make a big difference. And the one analogy I use in this one, because we don't really publish it all that often, we wrote like a proprietary cookie, and we call it, a cookie is just a JavaScript line that tracks visitors. And so we call it Art Buyer AI. And the easiest way to think of it is, BradCookPhotography.com is actually the Apple Store, right? And the Art Buyer AI is the video camera that sits in the upper right-hand corner of the Apple Store. And I go into Brad's shop, and I go and I look at an iPhone, and then I look at the iPad, and then I look at the MacBook Air, and then I buy the iPhone, and then I leave. Okay, so Art Buyer AI knows that. And so you get an email from this thing, and it says, Brad, Patrick just came into your shop. He looked at an iPhone, he looked at an iPad, he looked at the MacBook, and then he left with the iPhone. And then our software pops up a little box where the email language has already been written for you, okay? And it says, Hey, Patrick, this is Brad. Thank you so much for your order. I can't wait to ship you this new iPhone. Just to let you know, I saw that you also looked at the iPad and the MacBook Air while you were here. I do, because you're a first-time customer, offer a 3-in-1 bundle deal with prices you just can't get any other way. So if that's something you're interested in talking about, let me know and we can set up a call. Otherwise, thank you so much again for your business, and I can't wait to hear how you like your new iPhone. Send or edit, right? And so we have a whole bunch of different things that are built in like that you would lose not having it. So, I get the I built my website. It took a long time. I don't want to touch it.
No, I don't care about that. I'm just, I'm just asking questions. Okay. I'm not committed to anything.
Gotcha.
Like you said, you have to be willing to change.
Yeah, you do.
And as you've been saying all day long, I'm an artist. I'm not a marketing person.
Yeah.
And I worked in the public sector my whole life, doing public service. So business is as foreign to me as Timbuktu.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so this is the entire package then. We set up our website with you, and everything is then integrated directly into that website.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you so much. You actually answered my second question as well.
Awesome. Amazing. And congrats on retirement, both Brad and Len.
Thank you.
There's when you're sitting in the trenches, there's something awesome about that. It's like, ooh, retirement sounds nice.
Everybody eventually gets there, but I highly recommend it.
Yeah. Good man. Good man. Enjoy it. You let me know if you have any other questions, Brad.
You bet. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, Michael, I'm going to unmute you. So I assume you're asking whether or not you need a third-party email service, yeah? Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, like currently I have a Google account, and I was listening to a podcast of just art, people who sell art. And somebody he said, you mentioned just a minute ago the automated response. And he's like, apparently I didn't know this,
MailChimp
has that, and but I don't think Gmail has that. That's what I have currently. And the person suggested not having like a Gmail account for your business.
Yeah. So it's ESP, email service provider, right? Technically, Gmail is an email service provider, and technically MailChimp is, but there's a difference. The minute you have any sort of business, you need a professional level one. MailChimp, Constant Contact.
So do you guys, is that part of the package though? Do you guys have
we integrate.
Okay, so we still get our own.
We integrate with MailChimp. So, MailChimp.
Oh, so you do. Okay, cool.
Yeah. And MailChimp has a free plan to start up with, but you sort of need one if you're going to take the business seriously, because there's a bunch of things that it does. Our system sends emails too, but they're more like the transactional emails. Like, here's your order receipt from Michael Brule, right? As I always say, Brule.
Yeah.
Here's your shipping information. Like, we send those kind of emails, the system does, but you need MailChimp to send your marketing stuff. And you don't want to do that with Gmail, and you don't want everyone knowing what your Gmail is anyway.
And you don't think MailChimp looks unprofessional to say MailChimp at the end of Michael Brule Studio or
no? You can get no. It doesn't matter. You can get rid of that too with the paid account. Like when you have the free account, it has to say the MailChimp thing in the footer. But if you have the paid account, which is not that expensive, they charge you based on how many subscribers you have. Then you can get rid of that thing entirely.
Okay. And one more question I wasn't clear. I heard somebody else ask it, and I've asked it, but I'm still a little. I'll learn more when I talk to Matt on Tuesday.
Yeah.
How does the pricing structure work again? Okay, say if I get the $1,000 price, right?
Mm-hmm.
They set the website up and everything like that. So I assume I'm setting the website up. It's like the more you guys do, the higher the price is. That's what it sounds like. And the more I do, like setting up, the lower the price goes.
Yeah, so it's a little confusing in that capacity. No, there's, I think, 3 different plans. And the differences in the plans are, one, the duration of years that you get combined, and then just some features, extra bells and whistles. But that's independent of whether or not you set up the site or we set up the site. Like, if you want to pay for us to set up the site, we'll set it up. If you want to just do it yourself, then you don't worry about any of that. It's like, all off the shelf prices. But anything the agency does is on the side. It's not part of like when you sign up for anything.
Okay, so the sign up thing, you say years of commitment.
Yes.
Like I currently have a website, right? And I pay like, I don't know, like with $200 a year or something, I don't know, $300 a year for it, right?
Yeah.
Would it be like $1,000 a year, or is that
no. One time down. Yeah, one time down.
What do you mean by commitment? That's what I think I'm confused about.
Oh, so they do like 3-year, 4-year, 5-year plans and give.
So that means I wouldn't be paying anything, like even not even monthly for that time period.
Yeah, nothing.
Oh, so it's basically like $1,000, and the longer you want to prepay,
you get. Yeah, they give you like better deals and stuff. And there's interesting rationale on it too, which is, you talk to 1,000 artists and photographers, and you go back and you say, what have you done with your websites over the last 10 years? And everyone has the same story. They tried one website. They were on it for a year or two. Didn't do the sales they wanted to. They left. They went to the next website, right? Or they started uploading all their images to an image gallery, or this, that, or the other. Because there was no buying commitment, because it was a free trial and $29 a month or $13 a month or $300 a year, you weren't bought in. There was no incentive. There was no motivation to do any work, okay? Contemplate what we charge on the upper plans. You are pot committed. It is the difference between burning the boat after you cross to the other side of the river and not, right? You don't burn the boat, you can always go back, right? So
I had an artist once tell me that he liked, sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, no,
he liked being in paid art shows where you get to pay to be in it, because the people who buy tickets for it are more committed to buying something than as opposed to a free show where they just come and walk through.
100%. It's the exact same commitment.
Right, it makes sense.
Yeah, and so we get people that are like, I just spent $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 on this. Like, I am making this pay, right? And what do? They actually work the entire year on their marketing, and not just the first year, the second year, the third year, the fourth year, and they're successful as a result of it, right? Like, you got to you got to burn the boat sometime.
So I guess when I talk to Matt on my call on Tuesday, I will find out how much
Oh, he'll get into all the nitty gritty that I don't know for sure.
Right. Like if I said I only want to do a year because say I only have $1,000 on hand, right.
Yeah.
And then he would say, okay, well, if we do a year, then next year it'll be this much, and then you could buy in 3 more years or whatever.
Yeah, he'll give you all the options, but again, there's the monthly fee for the website. So let's just say it's $49 because I'm not 100% sure, but I think it is. The $49 you pay a month every month. The $1,000 buys you lifetime marketing education. You don't ever pay that again, ever, no matter what. Right?
Okay. Yeah. So after that, it's just the monthly fee, but you guys say I come in and ask $2,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
And $40 a month, that would get $2,000 would be the first time $1,000 buy-in to everything, and then the other $1,000 would go towards my monthly fees.
Yeah, and you would get some sort of special deal. Yeah.
Right, to whatever lump sum that would end up being.
Yeah.
Okay, then I wouldn't have to pay any more monthly fees. But then you guys, if I sell work on your, because my site I have currently is more of a portfolio site.
Mm-hmm.
My e-commerce store, it's through Weebly, which they do have an e-commerce store, but it's not as good as the one you guys have with the video and the discount or whatever,
Yeah, the wall previews. Yep.
And you guys help with all the automatic responses. Somebody comes in, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Weebly set up, like you said. I heard you say it in another one of these podcasts that you recorded, that it's more of a anybody can do it. You guys are more for art.
Yeah.
Which is a big difference.
Big difference. Yes.
I like a lot about you guys, and so I sell something through the website. You guys get a commission because I'm using your website and your credit card machine, right?
The credit card machine is technically yours. So the way that we do it is every customer essentially signs up for a Stripe account. It's the biggest merchant account company in the entire world. Essentially, every single solitary big online merchant has it. But the reason that we do that is it's your account and it's tied directly to your bank account. So when an order comes in, it's not like we're holding the money, right? boom, you get paid instantaneously. Boom, the printer gets paid instantaneously. Whatever the transaction fee is, we take that, and then it settles. So, you own the whole thing.
I don't have to do anything though. I don't have to send you money. I don't have to send the printer
Zero.
money.
You touch
Okay.
nothing. Touch nothing.
That's what I was hoping. Okay.
Yeah, no,
Cool.
it's so
Thank you.
important. Yeah, the ad that you can't going back to what I said before, and it's so true. It's like, you guys can't afford to be spending a damn minute on admin. You have to have all the time in the world to do your marketing. That's it. You should not be worrying about printing. You should not be emailing your printer. You should not be driving down there to look at a print or a proof or shipping anything. You should just, boom, the order comes in, you touch nothing, maybe send an email after it arrived. Hey, how do you like your piece? If you have any questions, let me know. Other than that, get back to marketing. Get back to marketing, because that's the only thing that's going to substantively grow your business. So, yeah, that's what I got. Good session today. I enjoyed it. If anyone else has any last-minute questions, if you're on camera, you can just wave your hand. Julio, I don't want you driving and watching. I don't want you driving and watching, Julio. And actually, Michael, now that I've watched you painting this thing the entire show, can I actually see it? If you don't want to show it, you don't have to show it. But I want to. Whoa, dude, you got skills. That was mega detail. Be careful, Julio. Very cool, Michael. Oh, okay, Len's got one last one. Go ahead, Len. Hold on, you got to unmute again, Len. You got to unmute again. Yep.
You described 3 levels, but not clearly articulating what's the difference between what you get.
It's the features you get, but I honestly, I just stay out of that department. I just stay out of it because I've got enough in mind. I could go and learn, but it's why we do the demo process. Like, there's so many bells and whistles and everything else. So the way that it works is you request a demo, you fill out the form, somebody from the outreach team calls you, like Matt, like Michael is referencing, and you get a 10 to 15 minute call where they find out about you and they explain everything, all the prices, they know the numbers. I won't screw anything up. And then if you like what you hear, awesome. You schedule the main demo, which goes an hour. You see every bell, every whistle, all of it. Or if you're over it, then no big deal. You're over it, right? And they'll never call you again. So we're not like the Sharky salesman organization. So you don't have to worry there.
And to request the demo, what's the process there?
They're all over our website. There's a link in the chat here too, or we'll email you after the fact. Trust me, that's one thing we're not shy about. 2 things we're not shy about: the amount of email we send you and the sheer number of demo request buttons that we place everywhere, right? Yeah, you'll see.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Len. Okay, Brad, you kept raising your hand and lowering your hand and raising your hand. I assume I answered your question. If I didn't, you can raise your hand again. But I think other than that, okay. Julio, eyes on the road, Julio. Eyes on the road. You have to unmute yourself. Have your son or daughter do it. I can't tell what. Do you know what you're doing? I always feel so guilty about this. I'll let you know when you get it. You got it.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for listen. I want to congratulate you for what you're doing and what you're doing, providing this information to everybody. I'm sorry that I was not at my home focusing, but I did not want to miss it. And I have a lot of things doing. I'm in here in Texas, and there's a lot of issues in Texas.
Yes.
Trying to get water and everything.
Yes.
So I'm trying to go and get water. And anyways,
yes.
It's fine. The roads are fine. My thing is that I would like to hear more about it. I'm a graphic designer. I do also have a marketing company myself. I had it with 4 people, but it went down, so I'm doing it by myself.
Okay.
And also, by passion, I'm an artist. That's my passion right now. Because of COVID, I stopped doing marketing, and I'm doing whatever my passion is, which is art. And I'm teaching online, and I'm actually pushing, and doing everything myself, like videoing, editing, doing the marketing and everything. And I see it's very hard because normally I have a team that does everything, take pieces for everybody to do, and we can accomplish and take care of a client. Right now I'm doing everything myself, so it's very difficult. And I probably missed some of the information of what service you provide, so I'm probably gonna go to your whatever website you provide, whatever service you provide, because I might need some help, even though I can do it myself, but I might need some help to speed up my business, which is, doing, again, I'm teaching I'm doing art classes online, and they're simple classes.
Yep.
So that's my goal. And again, I will have the time to look at your stuff without being driving. So.
Yeah. No worries. We'll send you this presentation, at the end of it. You can watch the parts you missed.
I truly appreciate that very much.
Or
we
run them 3 days a week, so you could come back to another one in the future too. If you're
awesome.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and stay safe out there.
I am.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I was explaining earlier that we have a whole bunch of staff in Austin, and when it's freezing outside and you lose your water and you lose your power and you have a young child, like, not easy. There's a lot of stressful situations. So I feel for you guys. All right. I'm going to leave it there. Guys, everyone have a fantastic weekend. Really enjoyed today's session. Yeah, that was really fun. Some great questions today. We'll email you the replay after the fact. Like I said, if you're interested in finding out more what we do, easiest way is to request a demo. There will be buttons everywhere in the several emails that we send, because we do send a lot of those. But thanks. I appreciate you guys spending time with me on a Friday. And, again, everyone have a great weekend. Bye now.